What's up, Server Nation? My name is Michael Reed, the podcast server, and you are listening to Process Server Daily. On this podcast, we interview the top legal support professionals and get the tips, tools, and tactics that they use to get the job done and build a successful company. I'm a big fan of storytelling, and I'm excited about today's guest. Before we get started, let's give a big shout out to my new sponsor, Serve Manager. They have a special gift for all of my listeners at the end of today's episode. Okay, we're going live. What's up, you guys? You are listening to Process Server Daily, and I'm your host, Mighty Mike, the podcast server. And our guest today is the owner and operator of Henderson Process Serving. He is the server with the big heart. He is a second-generation process server that has been serving up Texas for 3 years and is making some big waves over in Austin, Texas. Rob Henderson, tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got started in the industry.
Well, my parents had a process serving firm in the 80s in Oklahoma. So I grew up around the industry. So as I grew up as an adult, I just had a fascination with it and wanting to stay within the industry.
That's cool. So you didn't want to be like a cop or like a firefighter or anything like that?
No, I wanted to stay in the family business.
Oh, that's cool. That's really cool. I think a lot of times kids think, they don't want to do what their dad did or their mom did or whatever. They're like, a lot of times people are like, yeah, I can't wait to get out of my house and go do my own thing, So that's really cool. So, Rob, you listen to the show. I appreciate you being a listener and I appreciate you coming on the show. Definitely love to interview people that own process serving companies. Second generation is a pretty big deal. There is some stigma about second generation companies a lot of times, like Marcus Lemonis, the prophet. He doesn't like to invest in them because he says that usually they don't have as much vested as their parents did because they bootstrapped it, right? What are some of the challenges you've had? How has it been having the mom and dad's company?
Well, considering the fact that we were in two separate cities and I own my own company and they have theirs, I really have developed my own identity as a process server. So it kind of keeps a little bit of separation, but I really try to live up to their light. Anybody that would have ever crossed paths with them by reputation, got to live up to the name.
Right, exactly. Well, I love having new servers on, people who have been in the industry for a long time, just like the whole gambit. And 3 years to some people, especially people that have been in the year for 20 years, they'd look at that and go like, well, you haven't been doing this for very long. But, I started in 2014. And when I was a year into it, I met Cliff Jacobs and he said, come back and see me when you've served 1,000 papers. And I was just like, what? I'm like, man, I'm a freaking pro. But you know what's crazy is it's true. You go serve. I probably served 1,000 papers my first year, but it's actually true. Like you gotta, once you get out there, 3 years, you got quite a bit of experience under your belt, but like in Texas there, right? Austin, Texas. What'd you say? Austinites?
Yeah, we're referred to as Austinites over here.
Austinites. I love it. So let's dive into some of your story. We try to keep it around 30 minutes. So let's dive into some of your story. What is your worst experience? We don't want the whole show to be negative. So if this is like your first time listening to the show, just know that like we do kind of go up from there, right? And we start out with the negative, but what is your worst experience working in the field?
It wouldn't have to be necessarily working in the field. When I first started out, I thought I could conquer the world. Take the industry by the horns. So I would tell anybody, I'll go to any zip code in Central Texas. I got overloaded so quickly. Services became delinquent. I had some very irate customers. So that would definitely be my worst experience in the field, taking on too much, too quick, too soon.
Hmm. So take us. So I'm gonna dive in a little here, a little deeper, because we want to know, we want to learn from your worst experience. So take us to that one experience where if you could take it back, where you're like, you know what, I just that I might not do this for a living because of this experience. Like I've had a few of those, quite a few of those. So I know only 3 years, like maybe you've had like, you've been lucky, or maybe you got some, I know you got some grit underneath those nails. Come on.
uh, I haven't had too many negative experiences out in the field. Most of it's been positive. Um, but I would say every so often I would get backed into the corner, not keeping my head on a swivel. Um, it's very hard to say. There's been some situations where, I'm serving person A and person B comes out and, tries to, intimidate me. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's kind of a tough question. I have had a lot of people try to intimidate me, but I'm 6'2" and, heavily tattooed. So people, it's, it, it kind of, it's either hit or miss.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because when you're out there serving, some of the experiences I've had where people, that second person will come out. After a while, you get to recognize who that person is when it's before they ever even open their mouth. You're like talking to the wife or the cousin or the niece or whoever, and then this other person comes out of the door, and immediately when you see the look on their face, after a while, you get to know, and you know what to do. Like for what I do is when that happens and that other person comes out, what I usually will do is I'll immediately, like, depending on if I've served it or whatever. But if I just served it, that person comes out, what is it? I'm not sticking around to see what that other person thinks about the situation. Like, I don't care if I've served it out. And as a matter of fact, when I teach new hires, I tell them, I say, identify, right? Got to get the right person. Got to get the right person. And if you don't get the right person, drop it and come back, print out another copy if you have to. But identify that you're serving the right person. Okay. And then you identify the nature of the documents, right? Notify that that's legal documents and not junk mail that you're trying to sell them something. And then get the heck out of there. I say depart, but there's no need to stick around. I think that's one of the biggest faults that people run into is that they just stick around. So very good point. Very good worst story. I mean, we might come back to that. You'd be thinking about it through the interview. If you think of that one guy who like put his hands on you and then you did something. You don't have to necessarily be the champion in the story. I have some really. Have you heard my one about the cayenne pepper spray?
No, I'm afraid I missed that one.
Yeah, two German shepherds were coming after me, and I was trying to get away from them, and I had like a bear spray, and I did get away from. I got over the fence because I had the bear spray. I kept them at bay, just it floating in the air. I think got in their eyes a little bit, so they'd run away. And here I am. I get in my car and I go to sit down, and my stomach. I got a little bit of a tummy. It was like it was in my pocket, and I go to sit down, and the side of my stomach, I push down on the lever of the bear spray, and it just boom, threw out my whole car inside my car as I was sitting down, and I was like, and it was like all over, and it was on my hands, and it was in the car, and I was just like, and I'm in the middle of nowhere, just hopped over a fence and landed on my back to get away from these two dogs, and just don't jump fences. Just don't.
No.
I don't care how cool you think you are. You're like a go-getter, process server. Like, don't jump fences. So, I was brand new. So, but yeah. So that's the worst of it, right? Like we're going to go through all these things, like take precautions. Yeah, I had the bear spray, but first of all, just don't go over the fence. Find a way. There's always another way. Come back later, do a stakeout, do whatever you have to do, but don't go over fences. The other thing is, like, don't beat on the door. Like I used to have these little tactics where I'd take a key and I'd just tap it on the window. If I knew they were in there, I was just going to sit there. I'd even got a chair one time until they came out and opened the door. One guy almost beat me up. Like, you just don't do those things. Like, if you wouldn't want someone to do it at your house, don't do it to other people. So, So if you're a new gung ho process server, that I'm talking to you guys. So, all right, Rob. So let's get to your greatest experience. What is your greatest experience in this industry?
I had a paper that the client indicated that she was in a domestic violence situation, and she wanted her husband served at a social gathering that she was not attending, and she indicated that she wanted it served at a special time, special place, and because he was about to jump on a plane and leave the country, and it would the service would have been very ineffective. So, long story short, we were able to serve him and get the service affected, and she was so happy. She actually sent us cookies about 2 days later to my office.
Every good story has cookies involved, right?
That's right. That's right.
I love it. I love it. So you were able to get it served. So she gave you cookies.
That's right. That's right.
That's so cool. So what would you say? What would you say is your out of the great experience? What did you want? What do you want Server Nation to get from your story?
To go above and beyond the Call of Duty, to if you can't find somebody, think of other ways to locate that individual. We had to find one specific person that looked very similar to everybody else at that social event, and there was probably about right around 1,000 people at that social event. So we had to get very creative on establishing who that specific person was, and that's what makes repeat business. High reviews on internet scores. That's what makes happy clients. Happy clients come back.
That's true. That's true. So what is your number one way of getting? Would you say is getting new clients?
Getting new clients,
Yeah.
reassuring them that you are going to go above and beyond from their previous experience. I had one situation where the the client said, "Well, the constable went out once and established it was a bad address and charged me an arm and a leg." Well, I assure them that I'm going to do a little bit more than the average Joe, and I'm going to, take that they're going to be a little bit more than just a number in some big computer.
That's good. Yeah. And once they know that you're willing to go the extra mile for them, then they're always going to come back to you. Even see, a lot of people think that they do like the apples and oranges, where it's like, I got to be the race to the bottom. I got to be the cheapest. I got to be they say the services like speed of service and what the price is and all this kind of stuff. That is literally a conversation about being a commodity. And if it's your goal to be a commodity, you're always going to be a race to the bottom. Like, who can be the cheapest person in my area? And the best thing for you to do is get far away from that, because ultimately supply and demand is like for products. For services, it's you are in a situation where you can stand out from others and you can be a brand, they call it, and be where they remember you first of all, and they're willing to use you instead of the other person, because you're like a friend. That's ultimately what it is. You build friendships, you'll have customers for life. That's what it is. So good stuff. Let's move on to our next question. So Rob, tell us, what makes your company different from other companies in Austin, Texas?
I guess going back to the fact that, again, we're not just a number in a really big computer. When you answer the phone, you get the server. That did the papers. So, you're not trying to, fumble through 10,000 papers. When somebody says, "Hey, what's going on with my paper?" We can say, it's at this level. This happened on the last attempt. And this is our direction that we're going to go.
Yeah, that's good. So a lot of times as process serving companies, it's just like any other kind of in business in any other industry. you want to try to position yourself, right? And in Austin, Texas, like, do you know the other companies in the area?
Absolutely.
Okay, yeah. So, and you've been around for a long time, so you have a good idea of what they're working with and stuff. So that's good. So your company, so I'm gonna have Nancy start sending all our serves for Austin to you. I'll have to tell Valerie, sorry. She's big into notary, but there's some good people over there. Good stuff. So, well, guys, Server Nation, Rob has been serving us up some major value today, but prepare yourself because he's elected to go with the rapid fire round today instead of the prank a process server. So, if you guys are listening to the show and you're like, I know this process server that I would love to prank, send me an email, reach out to me on Facebook or whatever. Like, let's get you on the show and so you can prank. Not a lot of guys, Rob. I don't blame you. There's not a lot of guys willing to prank their fellow process servers. But the rapid fire round is no joke, and it is chock full of value. And so I'm excited to kind of take a deep dive into Rob's business and see through the rapid fire round, what makes his business tick. And you guys are going to learn a lot. I'm excited. So stay tuned after a word from our sponsors. So you guys that are on Facebook, you get to hear me read it. Imagine what you could do with another 25 minutes per job. This is how much process servers are saving when they use Serve Manager. Just 100 jobs a month. That's over 40 hours that can be spent growing your business or doing more important things like being with your family. From job creation to affidavit generation, Serve Manager is full featured and hands down the most intuitive process serving software on the market. I use it for my business, and I think you guys should too. I honestly, the best thing I like about Serve Manager is that I'm able to get payments up front, and I can send statements out that people can click on and pay immediately. It's pretty cool using Stripe. So go to processserverdaily.com/Serve Manager, and you can get an additional 60 days on top of your 14-day free trial. So it's pretty cool. All right, you guys, welcome back to the Process Server Daily Show. I'm your host, Mighty Mike, and I'm here with Rob. Rob, are you ready for the rapid fire round?
I'm ready.
Awesome, man. What is your favorite skip trace tactic?
That would be social media. You'd be amazed on what people put on their social media. We have caught people that are literally trying to move out of the city within a couple of hours, and we've served them right in front of the U-Haul. So it hands down, it have to be social media.
That is so cool. Yeah, social media is actually, especially nowadays, everyone seems to have it. So it's definitely a good tool for finding information and finding relatives and people who are related. What do you use to track your cases?
That would be Process Server's Toolbox.
Very cool. Very cool. What do you use to route your serves?
It is a app called Map My Places. It will kind of keep a server in that's covering a large area and a lot of serves, kind of organized versus kind of bouncing around like a pinball.
Yeah, look like a scatter like I do when you see my things. I post them online sometimes, and it's like, if you have like 50 or 100 in there, it's literally looks like this.
Exactly.
That's good stuff. So, what is the greatest advice you've ever received?
Get a body camera.
That's good.
I was actually told that by a process server, and I can't tell you how many times a body camera has come to save the day.
So we can dive in on that a little bit. What is it about a body camera that saves the day?
Well, there's when you're done with the service and you're filling out the affidavit and you've done about 10,000 serves and you're trying to remember, okay, what time did I do that serve, or what did the guy look like?
Yeah.
Or did he do that? Did he do this? And plus, if there's any question, from the attorneys or the courts, you can turn that over, and it's. I always tell my clients, you can watch the service in HD. So, and they love that.
Yeah, that's good. The old HD. Yep. I love it. So this next question, Rob, is a doozy of the rapid fire round, and it stumps a lot of people. So okay, I'm gonna give it to you. Okay.
Okay.
What would you do? What would you do if you woke up tomorrow with all the same skills and knowledge that you have today, but you didn't know anybody and you only had $100, a smartphone, and a car? How would you regrow your business to be the one that it is today?
Uh, Print out some flyers, print out some business cards, and hit every attorney in the immediate area. Just pound the pavement.
You pound the pavement. So in the next 7 days, so you have $100, you're going to print out some stuff. You got your smartphone, you got your car, so you can serve papers, of course. And you print out some flyers, you go pound the pavement, talk to some attorneys. What are you going to tell the attorneys?
That I'm ready to be of service. That I go the extra mile. That I that I will make the extra attempt. I will spend the extra 15 minutes. At the service, making sure that the job is done correctly.
Yeah, that's good. So one of the things, just from a marketing perspective, you guys, as you're listening, my Server Nation folks, if you're going to do this, you're going to go out and pound the pavement. You're going to go talk to attorneys. I love hearing what people are going to say, because there's always, this is how it goes. It goes hook, story, offer. So anybody is going to think about hiring you. It's always hook, story, offer. So the hook could be anything. It could be like, hey, do you mind if I just leave candy in here for you guys? It's kind of something I'm trying to do for marketing purposes. Maybe you guys will hire me one day, maybe someone else. So that can be the hook. The story should always be about your company. Like what's your brand? What makes you special? Right. And then the offer, of course, is like, hey, a standing offer for new clients should always be, we'll handle your first serve for free. Well, how can you do that? Well, the thing is, I'm on my way to another serve anyway. Our rate is normally this, so they have some idea, right? It's never not gonna be free forever, but the first serve for free. And if you get a serve from them, most of the time they'll still want to pay. Like, no, I'm charging my client anyway. So really, you're not offering a free serve. You are, and you should do it that way. But the truth is, most clients are like, we're paying you whether you like it or not, because we're getting paid. So offer the free serve. So hook, story, offer. I love that. I love that. You go pound the pavement. So many people overcomplicate it, like with all this other stuff. Oh, I got to have this page. Oh, that's good. But what's going to get the phone to start ringing right now is offers to people that are local, that have a need, right? And you bring that offer to the market. And right now the market would be your local area. So I love that, Rob. Good stuff. All right. So what is your parting piece of advice for Server Nation?
Make sure you have a mentor, someone that that you can bounce questions off. I've got about 20 mentors all across the Central Texas area. There's going to be servers, or there's going to be services that you have no idea what to do. And in this industry, a lot of the education comes out the field. So find a mentor, find somebody that is willing to take you under their wing, and answer questions at a random Tuesday at 3:00 in the afternoon. Okay, someone, yeah.
No, that's good, Rob. I appreciate that. And what is the best way we can keep up with you?
Hit me up on my website, Henderson Process Serving at gmail.com, or Henderson Process Serving .com, or just call me direct on my cell, 575-556-4974.
That is awesome. Well, thank you for coming on the show, Rob. I definitely appreciate it.
Thank you.
Guys, you guys have been served up some awesomeness, and I've been super impressed with Rob's story. He's just been killing it in the processor in Austin, Texas, and I've seen you at different conferences all over, and so I definitely appreciate you being a listener. And for everybody who's listening to the show now on Facebook, if you guys like the show, definitely like the Process Server Daily page so you get notified whenever we go live with the show. Go to iTunes or Stitcher Radio. I think you were saying, Rob, you use Spotify?
That's correct.
Yep, Spotify's one. So it's literally all over the place. Process Server Daily. You can go to processserverdaily.com/podcast and see it on the website. But definitely give us a rating and review so that more people, more process servers can find it. Let us know what you think. And if you want to be a guest on the show, like Rob, you know, just reach out to me. Let me know what you want to do, what you want to talk about. Definitely want to find out your story. So until next time, Server Nation, you've been served up some awesomeness by Rob the Austinite and Mighty Mike, the podcast server. Go check out processserverdaily.com/serve manager and start your 14-day free trial. If you like it after that, you guys can get 60 days, additional days of Serve Manager to check it out and see what you think. And don't forget to, if you want to use Rob and all his awesomeness over in Austin, Texas, HendersonProcessServing.com. Okay, guys, stay safe out there and take some mighty action. Server Nation, don't you just love it when a guest comes on and drops some major value bombs like that? I enjoyed that episode immensely. Server Nation, don't forget to visit processserverdaily.com/serve manager to get your 60-day free trial of Serve Manager. That's processserverdaily.com/serve manager. Thank you so much for listening today, and please don't forget to share this episode with your friends. And if you like what we're doing here, go to Apple Podcasts and subscribe, rate the podcast, leave us a review. It tells the platform that you're listening on that this podcast is providing value, thus giving us additional exposure and helping the podcast grow. Until next time, Server Nation, stay safe out there.